Hello everyone, Dash the Lake. Welcome back to another lesson video. Today we are going to read the poem "The Route Not Taken," written by Robert Lee Frost. And as the title suggests, we are talking about a road which was not taken by the poet. Okay, there are like two roads which are diverging in different directions, and then the poet Robert Frost has the opportunity to only uh, walk upon one part of the road and not the other. Now, before we begin, let us discuss this proverb. Well, for those who don't know what a proverb is, it is usually a true saying. Okay, it's like an idea or a piece of advice that you're giving to younger generation orally. So that's what proverb means. And here's a proverb: a man who chases two rabbits catches neither. So there is a man who is running after. Chasing means when you're running after, when you want to hunt someone, right? When you are trying to run after two different rabbits, you will catch neither, you will catch none of them. Okay, none of the rabbits will be under your control because you are chasing both at the same time. So what you should do is you should not act like this man. You should be smart. You should do one work at one time. Okay, and when the two roads diverge, he only picked the other road which he found to be better claimed. Now, Robert Lee Frost is an American author, okay, and most of his initial works were published in England. The skill that he had is to describe reality of rural and village life, and his control over colloquial speech is great. Colloquial means day-to-day common regional language, and he's one of the only poets in English, okay, or in America, who has received 4 Pulitzer prizes for poetry. So he, being an author, he also writes poem, and he has received 4 number of Pulitzer prizes. Okay, Pulitzer prizes is a very popular American literary prize and recognition. So it shows that he has got expertise in in composing poems. Now, this is just a simple introduction for those who are interested. Route Not Taken is a narrative poem. Narrative means it's narrating a story, it's narrating a tale there. It was originally published in 1916. It has 20 lines, which are of 5 lines of 4 stanzas. So you can multiply here. Okay, we have 20 lines, and the rhyme scheme of this poem is A, B, A, B at all in all the different stanzas. Now, if we look at the background, Robert Frost, being an American, he spent like 3 years in England. Okay, and during that period of time, he made an acquaintance and became good friends with Edward Thomas. Then they used to go for evening walk when one day a fork in the road. So they saw that suddenly the road that they were walking upon forked itself and diverged into 2 different directions. And then it shows the quality of being indecisive, right? You are not able to make decision or for which way to opt, and then finally the regret there. So it's actually a real thing that happened to him, but then he has narrated the tale through his poems, okay, through his poetic skills. Now let us read the poems. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveller, long I stood and looked down one as far as I could to where it bent in the undergrowth. So there's not a full stop. That means the second stanza is connected to the first one, but let us discuss these first, right? Now, there are 2 roads as seen in the picture which are diverged. Diverged means when something splits and separates into 2 different directions inside a yellow wood. Yellow wood refers to autumn season and in the forest. Okay, wood means forest. Yellow shows autumn season because the leaves were yellow. And sorry, he says sorry because he cannot travel both, because there were like 2 different roads, he cannot travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood. So he stood there for long because he was showing indecisive characteristic. And he then looked down through one road as far as he could to see where it bent in the undergrowth. So undergrowth means the plants that do not grow tall. So there were like different plants on that part of road, and he tried to look as far as he could to see where this road is leading to. Okay, and it shows that he's still confused. We have some questions here. You can pause the video and then answer them. All right, next. Then what did he do? Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. Now, first he looked at the one road, and then he's now looking at the other road, and he says that the other road is as just as fair, as correct as it can be, and having perhaps maybe the better claim, the better demand to walk upon that part of road, because the road was all grassy and the road wanted wear, which means the roads and the leaves which are upon them wanted to be used by travelers. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. So he's saying that if he has chosen to move on the right side of the road, that might have happened, that might have done the same thing to the road which is on the left side. So it doesn't matter where he goes, but he's saying that one road seems to have better claim, better demands than the other. Have some more questions here. Think of the answers. And both that morning, so they were still there, right, standing and deciding, and both that morning equally lay. So both the roads were equally lying there. In leaves no step had trodden black. So there were fallen leaves, because I told you it was springtime, fall time, leaves were there on the road, and no steps had trodden black. No steps had walked upon and crushed those leaves. Oh, I kept the first one for another day. So he said that the first one which has undergrowth in it, he left it for some other day, yet knowing how way leads on to way. Way lana lam laura, how one road will lead you to another, right? Just like a chain. So suppose we have some, I would say, a strap of chain here, and you see one chain is leading to another, and it leads to another and another and another and yet another. So in this way, one option that you have taken will lead you to another and another, and I doubted if I should ever come back. So now what did he do? He left the first road for some other day, this one, and he opted the second road, and he feels that he will come back someday and walk on the first road as well, but he doubted whether it would be possible or not. Now we have some questions again. Think of the answers. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that has made all the difference. So now the poem finishes here. At the end he says that when he will grow old, he will tell this story with a sigh, with some sign of regret. That there were two roads which diverged, which separated and split into a forest, and he, right, the author, took the road which was less traveled by. So he opted for the road where people have not traveled much. So this shows that the poet has this spirit of doing something new and doing independently, and he says that the choice that he has made all the differences in his life. Okay, so he has used hyperbole here. He's exaggerating the thing, right? Because one decision will not make all the difference in your life, but then he's stressing that even a decision in your life, if it is important, you should know its value, because some decisions are very, very grave and important. Okay, so yeah, this is it. The poem is also metaphorical in its nature. You have some questions here. You can pause video and think of the answers first. Now I say metaphorical in nature because here we're not actually talking about two roads and making decision there. The poet is talking about two different what say lifestyles or two different dreams in one's life, and then you have to make one decision. Suppose my example would be, most of you would be in class 9 or 10, right? So when you move on from class 10 to 11, you have certain choices, right? You have different, we used to have different streams like arts, and then there are science, and then commerce, and then there are vocations, right? So you have to make that decision. Right now this fork is more than two. There are no just two roads, there are like four different parts of road. Now it is up to you to choose any direction, any road that you want to walk upon. The poet has chosen the road where people has less traveled. Okay, suppose people are less moving on into the vocational course, so he will choose vocational because he feels like he doesn't want to go with the crowd. So that is his idea, but then the whole road is a metaphorical metaphor of what to say, this decision making in our life. And we should make decision because those decisions will make you feel regret or happy when you grow old in the future. So the poem begins with a dilemma, right? The poem begins with a doubt in the poet's mind. He's in doubt whether to go on the right side of the road or on the left side. And the poem is all about making choices in life. So when you make choices, you should be careful and what's say mindful at the same time. So these two I can say are the theme of this poem. Now what is the theme? Theme can be understood as the message that the poet is trying to convey through his poem. Okay, and themes are usually vague. The poet and the author, they do not directly tell us the theme, right? They tell it indirectly. Now you can discuss these questions on your own, okay, and see how you have understood this poem. You can also answer to these questions in the comment box below. So as of now, thank you all for listening to this and learning this poem. I hope everyone has enjoyed and learned something new. Thank you all.